Hello, welcome to TechTalks. I'm Victor here with Jeremy again,
Hey
and
guys.
we have quite a bit to go over in the past couple weeks that we missed. But I'll start with you. What's new on your end?
Not much, man. Mainly, I upgraded my laptop recently. I ended up just getting. I actually ended up just getting the Surface Go.
Hmm.
Or yeah, so I didn't do a Pro. I didn't do the laptop. I just went in. I'm actually gonna return that though. It's great, but it runs like a weird version of the applications. Like I can turn off like Microsoft S or something, and then I
Yeah,
don't know. It's not great. It looks beautiful. It's like a sexy device. Not what I want. So I'm gonna probably just get a Surface Pro.
yeah. I think the Go starts with limited capabilities, and then yeah, if you turn off that S feature or whatever, or you could use it more normally, but I don't think it was that powerful.
Nope, it's not. I got the i5 version,
Hmm.
and but it only has 4 gigs of RAM.
Mm,
So I mean,
yeah,
it's not great.
no. Today's day and age, um, 8 gigs of RAM when you're buying a laptop or a computer, bare minimum,
Yeah,
even for MacBooks.
yeah, it seems kind of crazy. So, but yeah, otherwise, not much.
Okay. Well, there has been a lot in the news, and we will start off. Well, it's mostly Google. And we'll start off with The Verge's article on Google letting you be able to opt out of Gmail's data hungry smart features. So a lot of Gmail's like recommendations and um, a lot of features in Gmail base it off of what they think you'll find useful.
Okay,
And, urgent emails can be brought up. Like it'll send you a reminder, like, "Hey, you sent this email. Do you want to check in on it?" And now it looks like Google is offering to be able to turn those off.
okay,
The smart replies also they're being able to turn off. And so I guess a lot of people would probably like being able to not have as much information shared with Google.
yeah.
That's probably where this comes from.
No, and that's. I mean, I feel like that's pretty understandable.
And that brings us over to the other side of Google, where they are starting their own credit cards and Google Pay, very much like Apple had their own credit card. And now they've updated their Google Pay app. I don't know. Have you tried the beta for the Google Pay?
I haven't, but I'll tell you one thing.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be kind of excited if Samsung comes out with their own credit card and their own currency type thing because I hope to God that Samsung creates the galactic credit. I don't know. They could do it, man.
Okay.
But
I
no,
mean,
I have
they
not
could.
had to use the beta.
Um, I don't see Samsung doing that. I don't think they're gonna.
I
They're
know, I
still
know.
using Android in their operating system. They
That's
don't
true.
have their own. Um, yeah, but now with the Google Pay, you can link your bank accounts to the Pay app, and it will show off your transactions. And it'll tell you, how much you spent, how much you've added to your account. They also have, I think it's a MasterCard that you can sign up for and have your own Google card. But it works a lot like the Cash App. Have you ever used that?
Like, yeah, on the phone, the Cash App.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Twitter version of this. It works the same way. You get rewards. It gives you places with discounts and all of that just for using Google Pay or your link cards.
That's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was useful. I mean, at this point, I don't even carry a wallet. I just have my phone keys.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah. I've stopped using wallet, like, I don't know, a long time ago, because it's just too bulky. Even with that new Ridge wallet that all the YouTubers are advertising, it's too much. Like, if you can do everything from your phone, why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Although some people do have issues with that. And so you haven't used, you have used the Cash App. What's your experience with the Cash App?
Maybe we're not. Are we talking about the same Cash App? I'm just like, it's literally the Cash App, right? Like, it's called Cash App.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, so
Twitter.
Okay. I don't know if it's by Twitter. I've just always had Cash App for a long time. So if there's more than one app called Cash App, I don't know if I'm using Twitter.
Well, it's by Jack Dorsey, the Twitter CEO.
Okay,
So
I'm just
it's
assuming that I'm using the same word, that we're all using the same Cash App, but I pretty much just use it to to pay for meals, like if we're at work, and like we all go out and get sushi or something. So we just kind of, hey, send me the Cash App, or that's like with my family and like the phone bills, they just Cash App me their portion.
Okay, yeah.
So
And
mainly like, yeah, cost sharing.
yeah, Google does that too. Square, sorry. The company that does it is Square, but that is still one of Jack Dorsey's companies.
Okay.
And okay. Yeah, we have been using Google Pay between us for that sharing money. Google Pay, though, is making it so that you can't transfer funds from debit cards instantly anymore without a payment. They only will allow you to do that through the checking account itself.
Okay.
So if you ever use Google Pay to, send money, if you don't mind it taking a couple days, then you could use your debit card.
I think
Or
that's
if
how
you
most of them work, though, right? Like if you're going to deposit it to your account,
Mhm.
it's they usually charge a small fee, like if you want it done instantly, and then
Yeah.
2 to 3 days, and it's free. I think
Yeah,
most do that.
that's how most of do them. Google hasn't. So Google has just been straight up instantly for free.
That's awesome.
But that's changing now.
Yeah.
Just like the Google Photos we talked about last time is changing to have their payment system similar to like Apple's.
Okay.
Next up is oh yeah, the Fitbit Google merger gets EU approval. Google has said that they're not going to use people's health information for targeted ads.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I think that Google's going to use people's health information for targeted ads. Actually, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I always tell myself that the reason I have only Google products in my house as far as like smart home, I mean, all like outlets, the speakers, I have the Google Nest, all that stuff, is because I generally Google seems to be pretty legit with their supposedly not active listening. But at the same time, they're probably actively listening, because there was the time when my wife was super upset at some people at work, and this was a few years ago, but she gets like, man, I hate idiots. And our Google speaker, for no reason, said, me too. So it clearly does listen. She said nothing that could have activated it, but
well, our Google speaker activates randomly all the time, and we're not exactly sure. I mean, we know it just misinterprets something. It misinterpreted the TV and decided to activate, or it misinterpreted what we said, because it is always looking for the words.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still suspicious.
Yeah, it's sketchy. You're definitely in a gray area having a mic that's always listening, and you just kind of have to hope that the recording, or it's not recording and sending that it truly is only recording when you say the words and the lights are going.
Correct. But I think we're getting to a point in this life and world where you start to, unfortunately, for some of the modern technologies and things, you kind of have to sacrifice a little bit of your potential privacy. You shouldn't have to,
Yeah.
but you do.
If you want to take advantage of these luxuries, and they are luxuries, then yeah, you are going to be data mined.
Yeah, and it's getting worse. Like, especially around Christmas time. I mean, again, I jokingly said to my wife the other day, like, "Oh, do you want some Uggs for Christmas?" Like, she doesn't wear them. Within 10 minutes, her Instagram ads are showing up with Uggs and boots like Uggs. Like, that's ridiculous.
Facebook for sure. I have my own personal experience of Facebook listening in. With there was a commercial for, I can't remember. I was at. Oh, where'd you go?
Oh, there I am. That was weird.
I was at a Thanksgiving gathering.
Okay.
Back when, it was legal. And they had football on, and there was a commercial for some old people drug. I can't remember what it was, but it was definitely one that's advertised to, older 60, 70-year-old people.
Yeah.
And we don't have TV here. We don't have ads like that. popping up
Yeah.
in our house here. So that's like actually the only time that I've seen that drug
Yeah.
and that advertisement. Literally, after that ad, I pull up my phone and I'm on Facebook, and that drug is showing up in the ads on Facebook.
Yeah,
And I look, and Facebook did have access to my microphone. So Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, all of them super shady with their
oh
mic
yeah.
usage. And so yeah, um, the people that are able to just have no social media on their phone, kudos to you, because that mic thing is actually what tempts me to do it more so than avoiding social media, because I actually don't mind it that much.
Same. Mainly, because I don't know. I just like seeing what you guys post, and I mean, I need to go through and do a huge do what you did and do a massive delete
Cool.
of
Yeah.
massive cool, but yeah, it's not so bad. I fell into the trap. With COVID, I am on TikTok. I don't post videos, but I like watching them.
I've not done TikTok.
Oh yeah, I get a hoot out of it, man. It's a hoot and a half.
I think when it comes to social media, I am starting to be that kind of like old man. This is the technology I knew, and I'm not gonna go any further. Right.
You're
So
gonna
the new
be the guy that's like the old guys that take the selfies where like their face is just like way too close to the screen.
yeah, and like after I think Instagram is the newest one that I joined. Like that's it. I don't any new ones that come out, I'm just over it. I don't.
My true old manism was starting to show out the other day too, where the newest one that I've come to, which it's also one of the older ones, I made an account and I never used it, is Twitter. And I know you're a lot more
Yeah.
active on Twitter, and so is John. And so I've started tweeting and getting on
Yeah.
and doing that. And like, I still don't know the whole like retweets and stuff, but I'm like, wow, I am freaking old, because like my little brother's generation, he was a little, Facebook wasn't really their thing.
Yeah.
Twitter was their thing.
Twitter was their thing. And they're two very different things. That's why I use both of them, is because I think a lot of like your brother's generation used Twitter like we tried to use Facebook. And then at the same time, they're also trying to use Twitter like Facebook is designed to use. So what I mean is, when we tried using Facebook, everybody wanted just to accumulate all the friends, right?
Yeah.
They wanted to get 1,000 friends, 2,000 friends, all of that. And
Yep.
no wonder why their experiences are so goddamn horrible right now.
Yeah,
Right? Because
absolutely.
they
have nothing in common with the people.
yeah. It's designed for, your small clique of friends that that you've accumulated through life, right? That you can keep in touch with.
Right,
So
like we have our family reunion group.
yeah, we have our family reunion group. I have like 60 people. 50 of them are family members.
Yeah.
But I can see people like closer to 100 people that they've accumulated all the years and they talk to, or at least care about what they have to say, right?
Yeah, I'm at like 400, so like I need to cut out at least 300, and most of them have been like, well, honestly, I don't know what, like there's just a point where like I must have like just accepted by default. But see, what I truly miss is MySpace, man. That's how old I am. I liked that you could have music on your webpage and have all these. I mean, you could spend hours customizing your MySpace page, and
You
like you
could.
showed it off.
Yeah. That was a whole different. Yeah. I didn't
I
like
mean,
it though. Like I liked it at the time,
yeah, because
but
we were like in 7th grade.
yeah, my brain was too dumb to know how bad the site actually was.
Oh
Like it
yeah,
wasn't knowing now, being a web designer and having, you know, seen how modern websites end up working, that website was never going to work.
but props to Tom. Tom had the most friends in the world.
Well, when
You
you
talk
can
about people.
backdoor your way in
Yeah,
for being everybody's friend.
you talk about people wanting to get all the friends. Tom had all the friends.
And then you have the other side where Twitter is just you standing in town square shouting to the void, hoping that people respond, right? And it could be anyone. You could be obviously people with the verified check marks and more followers have like a microphone or a megaphone, but it is just shouting to the void. And that is a very different, you use that tool, you should use it very differently than the tool that you use to communicate with your family and friends, right?
Right.
And um both or the newer generation, like your brother, like my sister, although she's not a tech person, um the newer
You need to get her
generation
on this show.
are they like shouting to the wind, right? They love that it garners attention very easily from strangers. And
Hey, speaking of
they all
shouting, shout out to your aunt.
oh what?
I said, speaking of shouting, shout out
Shout
to
out
your
to your
aunt.
aunt. For what? Or outside of just
Karina's the ultimate yeller.
oh, she is the ultimate yeller. Yeah.
Check out Two
And
Dude Review.
yeah. Uh where was I? Oh yeah. With they like shouting to the wind. But then they also are using it as just a platform to DM their friends, right? And um, keep in contact because they avoid Facebook mostly, and so they do all their Facebook stuff in the same place. And I think it works better that way. Definitely works better than using Facebook to shout to the void. But
Yeah. Look, so I'm going to talk about something that clearly wasn't a super popular thing because I'm pretty sure it no longer exists. But one thing I actually genuinely used for a long time and was pretty active on it was Google Plus. I liked their social media, and I mean, it wasn't the best, but something that I liked about it that I think Facebook probably could incorporate. I like that when you added a friend on there or followed them, you could like select like a level of like closeness, like from like acquaintance to
mm,
best friend, and so that would like attribute like how often you saw them in your feed.
yeah, I think Facebook, they just use the star and following system. So if you star somebody, then they're going to appear immediately on your Facebook feed in their chronological order over people you're not starred. And then following and unfollowing is whether you see their post at all, which at that point, why do you even have the friends part? But
Yeah. Well, I will say that there were even friends where I do care about their political opinions and stuff. This year was crazy enough that there were some people that I respect enough and like enough that don't want to unfriend them because I do want to be in contact with them, just not during the election process.
Fair enough.
But yeah, otherwise I agree. If you're not following them or whatever, or having them star, then why?
Yeah. So that let's circle back. Google and Fitbit are now gonna be one company. Google's gonna own Fitbit. We should either make Wear OS watches really good, or make Fitbit suck after being the best um smartwatch for people that don't have iPhones. Which
Really,
would
I
really
mean, I like the Galaxy Watch, but yeah, Fitbits are also really good.
Galaxy Watch if you have a Samsung, I'd say. But if you don't have a Samsung, you're missing out on a lot of the features of the smartwatch from the Galaxy Watch.
I will say this, and I don't know if this is here's a bit of tech news for you that you might not be aware of. And I don't know if this is for all carriers or just Verizon, but at least at Verizon, the Apple Watch 6 and the 6 SE, for the first time, you can now do Apple Watch as a standalone. So even if you have a Galaxy or a Pixel, you can now have an Apple Watch.
Yeah, you can pair it, right? With like through Bluetooth.
Yep.
But
But it
there's
lets
like
you.
a
The
ton of
issue is,
features.
but yeah, there's going to be tons of missing features, and I think technically, if you would have bought just like the Bluetooth only Apple Watch, you probably always could have used it with an Android phone. The difference with like cell phone carriers, if you did, you had to have an iPhone to add an Apple Watch to your account. But now
Oh,
you don't have to do that. So you can technically have a service Apple Watch with a non-iPhone.
I see what you're saying. Uh yeah, that's nice. That's dumb that it wasn't allowed before.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
yeah, the
But yeah,
the
so
Apple
they're either going
Watch,
to make a great Fitbit or it's going to suck.
yeah, the great Fitbit or a great Wear OS because Google has a smartwatch, right? It has
They do.
the
That
Wear.
one of the other reasons I left my Pixel is because they didn't have a watch.
Well, they don't have a watch by Google. They don't have like a Pixel watch, so
Okay.
everybody's anticipating one.
Yeah, I'll come back to Pixel once they
But
do
they
that.
have Wear OS, which is the Android operating system for smartwatches, and um, through that they have like Fossil and a bunch of smartwatch wear people making smartwatches, but they're not. They're just I don't. They have all the features, just never implemented well, right? They have GPS. They have apps on it. They have the heart rate sensors and all of that, but it's so it's just not as clean as the way the Apple Watch did it.
Yeah, Apple. I'll give you the one thing. They did a good job with their watch, and I will also
Yeah,
say they've always done a good job with their tablets. But
yeah, and um, really, the only watch that is you can utilize all of its features very conveniently is Fitbit, right? Because it has it's slimmed down pretty much to the bone of just the main features that people use smartwatches for. So health tracking is the main one, and notifications, and that's pretty
yeah,
much it. Like alarms. People have I think
yeah.
people have been liking alarms, like the vibrate alarm.
Oh, yeah. I am Sam Fisher.
Yeah. And so that's all it does, and it does it really well. And it does it timely. And now with the new Versa series, they even have assistance on it.
I'm not
So
we're like selling cell phones and things like that. Like it's nuts how many people prefer the I'll put it this way, if Fitbit makes a cellular Fitbit, that will probably become the most sold smart device or like connected device because we sell more. I mean, I have people return smartwatches to just go back to a Fitbit.
yeah, because they're just very simple, easy to use. They don't price gouge, right? The Fitbit app, you can
You,
get all your metrics without even paying a cent.
no, you can get a nice Fitbit for like $80.
Yeah. And so it's right now the best smartwatch for people that don't have an iPhone. That's
I agree.
really, and yeah, we Julie and I have had this discussion a few times over throughout the podcast, and so far still hasn't changed. But Google now has Fitbit under its umbrella. We'll see what happens. Uh, Next up, what was this? Oh, this is both an economic thing and um a tech thing. So apparently in California's unemployment system, uh when you get the EBD or EDD accounts, the economic where they pay you your unemployment. They
Okay.
do it through Bank of America.
Okay.
They give you an account, they give you a debit card, and then they just deposit funds into that account. And apparently, throughout this pandemic, people have been having money taken out of that account. And uh, here's an article from ABC talking about the lawmakers trying to figure out why Bank of America is draining their accounts. So, the
Mm.
tech portion to this is always transfer those things into your personal savings account. Don't
And
rely.
if you ever win the lottery, always take the lump sum. Don't take those payments over time.
All right.
Same reason what
The
you're saying. Transfer it
Yeah,
out because they'll take it away.
yeah, that's very true. But this is probably more likely to happen. Is uh you end up getting unemployment, and if you keep it in that account, there's other people that have access to it, right? If you move it to your account, nobody else has access except your bank. A lot safer there, and um, yeah, it doesn't cost what it costs. I don't think most checking accounts have a minimum balance.
No, most places don't anymore.
Yeah, so have your own account to move the money into and your own debit card.
Or take it out at it from an ATM and get cash.
Yeah, get cash. Um, but leaving money, and this also goes with a lot of like retirement funds and employment benefits and things like that. If you have employment benefits that where you're not in control of your money, somebody else is, it's hell getting that out once you need it versus you just being in control of your money and then having your own retirement accounts and things like that. Um, that's just technology. and
Fair
having
enough.
people having access to it. So
Yeah.
this is what happens, right? The Bank of America accounts are getting drained, and there's nothing you can do.
I mean, you think that the government would be like, "Hey, Bank of America, you need to tell us what's happening right now, or we're shutting you down, and you're also not getting any more money." I don't know. You'd think that that's something that would be easy to catch and stop. That shouldn't even be like a what's going on.
Oh goodness, that went down the wrong throat. Yeah, you would think so, but the government, and call it corruption, call it whatever you want, they're just too far in bed with the banks to ever do something like that.
Hmm.
I mean, this is straight up using the banks as bank account or using
They're
Bank of
money
America
laundering.
in a way, like kind of.
Yeah, maybe not, but they're at least patting some people's pockets somewhere.
Yeah, like it's it's literally just the you could ask yourself like a lot of questions, like why is it specifically Bank of America? Why couldn't they just deposit it straight into my bank account? Right? I could
Like they
just
did
give
with
them
the
my
stimulus
check and then,
checks.
right? Like yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of weird good gosh, connections that um don't trust it, right? Don't trust other people. Trust yourself. That's
Yeah,
the motto.
that's it. Yep.
Speaking of banks and Google Pay, um, Google Pay has another support for 34 new banks in 26 countries. So if you are able, or if you want to check out Google Pay, there's a good chance that your country might be able to. There's also the Google Assistant driving mode that is coming out
Okay.
and makes it makes the phone easier to use during driving so that you can get less distractions, right? You'll be able to see what you need at a glance while you're using the GPS or turning Google Assistant on without having to like look. Um, yeah, the integration of Google Assistant also really helps so that you can talk to it instead of actually using your phone while you're driving. So,
Okay.
bit of a safety feature there.
That's nice.
And what else was there? Oh, and for those using Google Fi, Google is ending support to use Hangouts as your text messenger. You can still use it as your chat, and it's going to turn into Meet and Chat, but it will no longer be able to use for text messages.
Okay. What's it going to?
Uh, they now want everybody to use just the Android messages or Google messages. I think it's what it's called.
Okay.
And because that's where they're trying to get their oh man,
Google
what's
Pay.
it called? No, the real time communication, RTC, RT,
RT.
real time something. Um, chat, but it essentially, instead of text and multimedia messages, uh, it uses more like Facebook messenger uses, where it uses like the internet to get better quality photos and
Does
things
that
like
mean
that.
that I can finally send you? I could send you videos, and Android users would be able to see it with like good quality.
Yeah, you need to be using the um rich, I think, what is it called? Rich communication, RCS. So in Google Messages, there's an option. Chat features. Okay, yeah. They're calling it chat features now, which essentially means like those, it'll be able to see, if somebody's typing and let you know that they're typing, right? That kind of thing. It'll
Yep.
allow you to send higher quality videos and photos. And I don't know what their compression is, because I don't think our group chat is still on text messages, because everybody not everybody is using the rich communication chat features. So it has to send it all as text. But if you had a conversation with somebody that used those features, yeah, you get better videos sent.
Nice. And I looked it up too. I guess you were right. It's RCS. It's Rich Communication Services.
Services, that's what it is. Yeah.
So
That's
that's cool. So would iPhone users have to download the Android messaging app to be able to send
yeah,
good
I think
quality?
it's called Google Messages. Let me just check. I think it's actually just called Messages.
Yeah, I think it is on the. Is that what it is on the Android phone?
Yeah.
But that's not out yet, right?
It should be out.
It doesn't look like I can download that in the iTunes store or App Store.
Oh, okay. Maybe it not.
I can get Messages Plus, but I think that's Verizon's chat text.
Mm-hmm. I'm
I
trying to
wonder-
see. Yeah, no. It looks like they don't have it for iPhone, which that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So technically, that doesn't allow that. There's no good communication between Apple and Android yet.
Nope. Yep. Uh, that's also a lot of the reason people don't want to leave iPhone, is because of that iMessages, and this is essentially trying to bring that to Android.
Yeah, because is iMessage is RCS.
iMessage is RCS. Yeah, it's been that way
So that's
for
one
a long
thing that
time.
Apple actually has done before Android, in a sense.
In a sense, yeah, and that is because Apple has full control of their system. So whenever a message is sent from like a Verizon phone or AT&T phone, it all still filters through Apple's messages servers.
Yeah.
And that's something that doesn't happen on Android. So Google can't actually control that. They need all the carriers to agree to switch to this new system, and it's not happening. So
Gotcha.
I think they're trying to create, I don't know how, some sort of consensus uh to get the messages filtered through Google servers, but I don't know how they're exactly trying to do it.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. That's what I had for the past couple weeks.
Awesome. I
And oh yeah.
I got my new work phone. They gave me. I was so bummed. So I don't know, for anyone that is watching, I work at Verizon. Um, but one of the cool things is they have like a program where you get like they give you a work phone for free. Well, I was originally, I don't know if you've ever talked about this on the show or if you got to see the phone. I got nominated to be the Hydrogen One
Oh yeah.
sales, yeah, sales merchandising expert, or they call it a SME. Um, so I had that for a while. Horrible phone, but then I got the Pixel 4, and I was like, and I loved it. But then I ended up our Apple, like each store has like, I think they call it an Apple Master,
Hmm.
and ours, the one at our store left, and I got picked to be that. So then I got an iPhone. Well, during all this COVID stuff, our store got shut down for 14 days because like someone did contact tracing and called our store, and they're like, "Hey, you guys need to shut down." So they actually shut our store down for 14 days. And there was a Apple Masters training that needed to be taken during that time, which I missed because I was at home. And so I was unenrolled, and I was like, sweet, because it was my turn to upgrade my work phone. So I ordered the LG Flex, or not the LG Flex, the LG Wing,
Hmm.
and because I thought that looked cool, and I wanted to get the Wing because I couldn't get the Galaxy Fold, and I just wanted to try something new. Well, then they ended up reinstating my Apple Master status, so they canceled my order, and I ended up getting the 12 Pro, which is, I mean, it's cool, but I really wanted to have a phone where I could flip up the screen.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah. So, but no, I think that there's no huge news from telecommunication world right now, really, other than we've been seeing a lot of, not just at Verizon, but I've been, I know, obviously, I know people that work at tons of carriers or all the carriers, and apparently there's been a lot of activation issues with the new iPhones. And it's primarily because it's their first 5G phone, so the 5G SIM cards aren't activating, and it's created quite a hassle. With I My buddy told me that AT&T had 38 million more calls last month for their customer service because the iPhones weren't activating.
Wow.
So that's my only real contribution to tech news that might not be mainstream, because I feel like people don't generally report on like, this phone doesn't activate.
Yeah,
But
no, that's good to know though.
so yeah,
Activation
so
issues.
I guess anyone that's planning on buying an iPhone soon, don't freak out if your phone says it's not activating. It just means your 5G's, usually what the cause of it is, the cell phone plan that you're on doesn't support 5G, and you're activating a 5G phone, so something doesn't communicate, and then your phone just doesn't turn on.
So, is 5G data another data plan that you need to add to your phone bill?
Sort of. Like Verizon just launched a new set of plans. There's the Start, which doesn't include 5G, but then they have the Play More, Do More, Get More. Like, it's the traditional, like Sprint has, their like tiered plans and stuff like that. Like, some of them
Yeah.
include like Apple Music, Disney Plus, Hulu. The new plans include 5G for free right now. I think eventually, like, I'm making up a time frame, but let's just pretend like 3 years from now, eventually, like, you'll have to pay an extra $10 a month for 5G. But like, Verizon's a cool company, and they don't force people to. I don't know. They really don't care about grandfathered plans. So like, I had Sprint, and I remember they like would force you to change your plan if you wanted to upgrade sometimes. I see customers that have plans that are still minute plans. Like, the other day, I helped a guy that he comes in and pays $5 every other month to get like 150 minutes. But anyways, if you're on an old plan, you can, and you want 5G, if you're in an area that has 5G, you can it's considered 5G is actually not a service or like a plan. We consider it a feature, so it's like an add-on to your plan. Like same thing, like a hotspot is an extra $10 a month if you want a hotspot.
Yeah, so 5G is an add-on to your
Yes.
plan.
Yep, but
That's interesting.
currently Verizon, if you switch to the newest plans, that is like the benefit of switching is they are giving you 5G for free.
For how long?
Eventually,
Or they don't say
indefinitely.
indefinitely?
As long as you switch during the free period, you're grandfathered into having free 5G. Eventually, people that are late to switching to the plan will have to pay for 5G as a feature.
Yeah, as this keeps happening though, like Google Fi, it's not an additional feature. It's just part of your data plan, and your data plan is $10 a month. For $10 per gigabyte. So if you use a gigabyte, you just pay $10, right? And it doesn't matter
Yeah.
whether it's 5G or whatever. They don't care. Just same thing with the hotspot. You can get a data chip, data SIM, and put it into whatever device you want, and it just takes it off of your data. It doesn't. There's no monthly fees or anything like that. And so, if once I assume the more people that hear of this, the more that are going to leave carriers unless they start doing the same thing.
Yeah, and that's something that, and I will say, and you know what, I did, just to clarify, I have done our social advocacy training, so I am like authorized to like, I can like post comments and share like Facebook or like Verizon advertising material.
Yeah.
I don't know what legal things I have to say like on like a live video, but I'm you know, whatever my opinions are not the same opinions as Verizon, all that stuff. Just to clarify, I'm not speaking on behalf of Verizon, but like watch them next time we are on TechTalks, I'm gonna be like, hey guys, I had just started a GoFundMe. I got canned. but no, long story short, there's certain Verizon's changing a lot of their plans. Like even their prepaid has changed dramatically to where a lot of postpaid customers have switched to the prepaid because it's kind of cheaper, or it can be cheaper for one person. I mean, you're never going to beat it if you have 5 people. If you have 5 people on a plan and you have auto pay turned on, you're paying $30 a person for unlimited data. I mean, that's hard to beat. Because I mean, even like if with the Google Fi, what unlimited is 60.
Unlimited is, yeah, 60, but it's everybody gets their own data, right? So like it's me and Julie,
Yep.
and if I use a gigabyte data, it'll charge me the gig. If she uses a half a gig, she'll just get charged for the half a gig.
Yeah, but
And
Google Fi does have an unlimited option too, right?
it does have an unlimited. Think it was, yeah, somewhere around $60.
Yeah, because I know, because I used Google Fi obviously until I started working at Verizon, but the one thing I like that Verizon does give you the option. Now, the whole pay for your gig thing, that I like, and I think it'd be awesome if big carriers adopted that. But like Verizon has offered like where you can like they have like metered plans where you do have to buy like a certain amount of gigs at a time. But you don't get charged extra for going over, right? So let's say you do like a 5 gig plan, you can, and your data doesn't. I mean, your data will slow down, but they don't just keep charging you and charging you. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, if you can have 4 or 5 people on an account and you're unlimited, I mean that's tough to beat. But
so
I
yeah,
also
here they say unlimited Calls, texts, and data, $50 a month per person.
Does it drop
you
with how
wanted
many
it.
people you have?
No, it
Or,
doesn't.
okay,
It's
so that there's
$150 for 3 people.
so Google Fi, I think is great for singles and couples.
Yeah.
But I think still the big carriers kind of went out when you're doing
Or
if you have 4 or 5 people,
if you
or
don't
if
use
your whole family
data,
doesn't use data.
right? Like, and we generally don't because we have Wi-Fi wherever we go. So we don't use data that often.
Yeah, and I'm gonna also say I have like a bunch of people on my account. Most of us don't. Somehow my brother uses like 80 gigs a month. I don't know. Well, he does drive for Amazon, so I guess if he's
He
listening to
just has
music a lot.
Netflix or
Hopefully not Netflix. You see an Amazon truck zigzagging down the road. Gosh, no. But anyways, yeah, that's a thing. I think my last thing that I'm excited for though, with because like everyone, and this is where the big competition too is coming down, is everyone's fighting for 5G. You know, AT&T claims to be the first person with 5G. T-Mobile claims to be the first with 5G. Technically, AT&T, you know, they do, and even we have mutual friends that work there. AT&T has its 5G-E, and that's actually their speeds. It's the equivalent to 4G LTE. So that's AT&T finally got up to 4G. T-Mobile and Sprint do have 5G, and they have a lot of 5G coverage, especially with their merger. But the thing that there's a huge difference, and
sorry.
No, go ahead.
T-Mobile and Sprint is what Google Fi uses.
Yes. So the big difference, and what's not being talked about right now, is there's 5G nationwide, and that's what every carrier is kind of like. That's what you see on commercials in the big race for. But the real thing that Verizon's focusing on, or at least it seems like to me currently, and is the 5G ultra wide, and that's what's getting you the like gigabyte speeds, and that because Verizon's also like rolling out like with their FiOS and doing like the home internet. So like my brother's up in Grand Rapids, they have 5G in that area, and he switched to Verizon for his internet, and his download speeds are like 950 megs a second. So that's like, and then obviously on the cell phone it's like half that amount, but still it's the 5G nationwide is just like a little bit better 4G LTE.
Yeah, because the way I don't know if you've watched MKBHD's video on this, but he talks about the bandwidth for 5G, the millimeter bandwidth versus the I can't remember what it is called, but one of them is a shorter wavelength.
Yeah.
That can send further or not further, more faster data, but can be intruded by like a tree, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't go far at all. So you need millions of them in order to cover the country. And then there's the other one, which is the wider bandwidth that goes further but sends less data. And that still, I think, doubles 4G, doubles or triples 4G.
Yeah, it's
still
triple,
right now.
and you'll notice, and I don't know, because again, not the other carriers aren't they're racing for 5G nationwide, and which is just an upgrading of the 4G towers.
Yeah.
The ultra wide. So, and I like the store that I work at just a couple months ago, we actually got the 5G tower installed on top of our roof. So I don't know, and I'm not very well informed on the 5G stuff because it's not in our area yet, so it doesn't necessarily pertain to me as much. But it seems like all Verizon stores are getting 5G like relays put on top of their buildings, and that's kind of how they're really like making that, like you said,
Yeah.
it's creating a huge blanket coverage.
Yeah. And that's one way that to get those towers up there.
Yeah, and that's why though it's only like the 5G nationwide is going to be nationwide, but ultra wide is going to be in the cities. That's going to be an urban service.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I
I mean,
recommend watching the MKBHD video. He he talks a lot about the science behind it, and he like straight up goes to a 5G area to tell you what or to show you how it affects it. And this is the millimeter bandwidth, so the really high end like
yeah, I think that's
gigabyte
what
speeds.
I think
Yeah.
millimeter is what the ultra wide are the same thing.
Yeah, and but he walks around a corner and it's gone, right? He walks behind a tree and it's in half, if not almost close to 4G again, depending
Yep,
on where. So
yep,
that one has a long way to go.
yep. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's
Mhm.
gonna take forever, and then COVID sets us back. I'm sure that
Oh
ruins
yeah.
the time frame. So, but cool. Yeah, man. I am ready to finish the last half of the Mandalorian.
All right. Have a good one,
Thanks.
and
See you guys.
we'll see you next week.